Aloha and good afternoon. Welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs of Maui community. We are sponsored by Pacific Source, Maui's best source for building materials with a cabinet appliance showroom open to the public in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Interim Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors. And I'm happy to introduce my co-host for today's show. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Susie.
Sherry Dodson, Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Maui.
That's right.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Are you awake?
I am.
This rainy weather is taking a toll.
What makes you want to take a nap?
Not for the next hour, folks. Stay wide awake and pay attention because we've got some exciting things coming up. Our first guest?
We have two guests today. We have Randy Achito from Friends of the Children's Justice Center, and we have
Kelly McHugh from Hui Noeau Visual Arts Center.
Yeah, and in this next hour, we'll be hearing all about how Maui's nonprofit agencies are helping our community, changing lives, changing people's outlook on lives. So thank you, Kelly, for coming. I think you're going to go first today.
Sure, it sounds really good.
So tell us a little bit about the Hui.
Hui Noeau has been around since 1934. We reside in the Kaluanui estate up in Makawao that was built in 1917 for Hui founders Harry and Ethel Baldwin. And the estate has been completely transformed into artist studios and administrative offices. So we offer classes and workshops. We've got an exhibition program where anyone in the community can submit artwork 8 times a year for our rotating exhibitions. Special events and community gathering opportunities, and a program called the Kaluanui Experience. We offer tours and brown bag lunches, and we've got 70 species of plants and trees on the property. So we attract not just artists, but lots of other folks with their own special interests to come learn and enjoy with us up at the Hui.
Yeah, and the tours are something fairly new, right?
They are. In the past 2 years, this Kaluanui Experience has really been formalized and developed as a way for us to kind of steward the property and just make it more accessible to a larger community.
Yeah, because it's so pretty to drive by, and I'm sure people who may not be artistically inclined like me
and me
still like to.
You both are. You just don't know it. That's what we tell everybody.
I can appreciate it, but nobody's going to appreciate my work. Something like that.
I'm with you too. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think you might be artistically inclined,
yes,
then you should go up.
Absolutely. Well, we find people uncovering their kind of artistic inspiration all the time. Our mission is to unlock creativity through exceptional visual arts education. So we do cater mostly to folks that, like you, that feel like they don't, have any kind of artistic.
Is there a test we can take?
Yes.
There is.
No.
I was going to say, sign me up, then I'll know for sure.
I think the test is you go up and see if you enjoy it.
Yeah, just come on up. We have the open studio program, and part of the tours is that you can just pop in to our studios any time of the day or any time of the week and just talk to the artists and chat with the instructors and the moderators and see if it's something you like. So that's something that isn't really offered elsewhere, and it's a really nice way to feel more comfortable in the studio and with the materials that are being used before you commit to taking a class.
I like the comment she made about it. You enjoying it, or you made, whichever one of you said that.
It was me.
Okay. Anyway, I had an aunt that loved to paint with oils. I mean, whenever I'd stop by the house, she'd be busy in her little third spare bedroom, with her easel out there and doing stuff, or out in the front yard or whatever. Nothing ever looked like anything, but she thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't look like anything.
That's right.
It's called art.
Maybe with the right promotion, she could have made a fortune.
She might have. If she loved it as much as, if everybody else loved it as much as she did. Yeah.
If that's contagious,
yeah,
she could maybe have done something.
Well, it's interesting because especially our exhibition program, kind of presents art as more of a conversation between the artist and the looker. So, the artist might have had one intention, but the folks in the room that are seeing the art and discussing it and might have very, very different definitions of what they're looking at and what they're seeing. So it's nice to have a community-based gallery because you have access to all of those artists as opposed to maybe a museum in a big city or a larger organization where the artists are off island or out of the country. So, it's nice to be able to ask those questions and have them answered. Yeah.
And the last time you were on, we talked about your educational background and the kinds of art that you did.
Yes.
And do you get a chance to do anything with your art at this point in your career?
I do my very best. I do not exhibit, but I experiment greatly up at the Hueys. That's one of the perks of being there. I've taken classes in ceramics and jewelry making and drawing and painting. I'm dying to get into that printmaking studio. I just haven't made it happen yet. I'd love to be in the darkroom more often. We have the only public art studios on the island, so it's really, like I said, a great perk to be able to work there and be a part of that community and get to pop in on classes when I have the opportunity to do it.
So is the darkroom where people like I go to do my work?
So no one can see it.
Stop.
I'm sorry, that was really nice. But if you go up and take the test and get sent to the darkroom,
you're in trouble.
Then your art is really nice.
Yes, gotcha.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Interesting, yes.
That's just my take on what.
You'll never be sent to the dark room.
Oh, okay.
Now the instructors, they're all different mediums, and are they volunteers up there, or they just come up and?
No, the instructors all get paid. As a rule, we hire teaching artists. So first and foremost, there are artists that show their work in the larger community. So we're hiring people that walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And then secondarily, they're interviewed to ensure that they know how to break down their processes and share them with a larger community. And for the most part, if you take a class, chances are your instructor is also showing not only in our gallery, but other galleries state and nationwide. And we offer all of the biographies of all of our teaching artists online and in our Create newsletter so that you get a chance to get to know them and research a little bit. Sometimes you might be interested in taking a class based on the medium, but other times it might be more personal. You might, be more interested in the credentials of that teaching artist. We're really lucky.
And you schedule those classes pretty far out so people can plan.
Yeah, absolutely. We run our newsletter quarterly, so by season. So right now our current newsletter and what's on our website, I think, covers the next 3 months. And then our next newsletter will be coming out actually at the end of August, and that'll cover into the new year. So if you sign up online and let us know you want us to mail you a newsletter, we'll do that. But the website, we're adding classes to there all the time because, again, as a community organization, if you're an artist in the community that wants to teach something, submit a proposal. If we get enough folks interested, we're going to run the class. And it might just end up online if it doesn't make it into the newsletter. But we do everything we can to make sure it does, that it reaches the widest possible audience. But
I'm looking at your latest. Is this the latest? Yes.
Yes,
Summer.
it is.
Create newsletter, and the classes all of them look wonderful. But the new thing is this jewelry with shells. Yeah.
Yeah,
and you guys
absolutely.
have a class, quite a few classes, 3 sessions coming up.
Yeah, it's interesting. It feels like all of our jewelry classes are starting to involve jewelry now, just because there's such a demand for it. And it's quick. You'd be really surprised. I mean, I took a beginning jewelry class a year or two ago. And after my first 3-hour session, I left knowing I could open my own, online Etsy shop or something like, once you have the right tools and the right studio space and the proper instruction, the sky's the limit. So, yeah.
I like this one, Hours of Earrings Workshop.
Oh, my gosh.
Very creative names, too.
Yeah, we have fun with those names.
Yeah, I bet.
Absolutely.
Now, the kids' classes, you said, were all pretty much filled up for the summer.
We do have maybe, I want to say 3 spaces in next week's camp, Kaluanui program, which is Spirited Away, Magical Masks, Dragons, and More. And then I think we have maybe 4 or 5 spots in our July 16th camp, which is What Lies Beneath, Uncovering the Underwater Universe. Uncovering the Underwater Universe, rather. Sorry about that. I'm tired. But the children's camp program is just so much fun. It's phenomenal. And I think speaking with you on the radio a few weeks ago really helped us fill those up. So
terrific.
Yeah. Thank you.
Glad we can help get the word out.
Yeah.
It's so fabulous what they're doing. I keep going back to the old image of the Hui, that it was, the more prestigious. You couldn't go in there unless you could afford to buy a real fine piece of art or something. And now it's...
I didn't know that.
And that
You didn't know
kills
that? I
me.
don't know. Maybe that's just what somebody told me when I moved here or something,
Yeah.
but there was an impression of
Sure.
it as being something you couldn't touch unless you had money.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're in this beautiful old Baldwin mansion. So right away when you see us off the road, you think private,
Yeah.
Money.
Maybe that's it.
But it's nice. I mean, we bought the property in 2005, and by we, I mean the entire community pitched in, every single member.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
was a
thousands of people.
tremendous effort.
It was
yes.
amazing, and I think it took 3 months to raise $2 to $3 million to buy the property. And again, I mean, it's a membership-driven organization, and we have 5 or 6 different welcome signs on the road and on the fences now. We're really, really trying to let people know.
Please come in.
Come in. It's free. The exhibitions are free. The tours are free. Come pack a picnic, put out a blanket, fly a kite. It's a community space. So in addition to being an arts center, we really want folks to know that they can just come and spend some time there. And as we all know, open space is kind of a vital resource, out here in Rare. So
Right.
Well, and it's
sharing it.
And the building itself is part of our history, and here
Absolutely.
in Maui, and
Right.
anything historical we want to maintain so that we
Yeah,
can look back.
absolutely. And we do have a new history room in the last 2 years as well, talking about the history of the home and the original inhabitants and the hui. So
Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
trying to share that story with
So a
everyone
little
as
tiny
well.
bit of museum in there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little museum.
Yeah, a little museum.
Yeah.
You should put
So-
that, a little museum.
Yeah, so the keiki section is pretty well sold out.
Yeah.
Then you have a teen section, right?
We do. So primarily the next big teen program that's coming up is our 2012 Artist in Residence program with Shira Walensky, who will be with us from the City of Philadelphia Mural Arts Program in July, starting our Maui Mural Project. And we'll have a weekend-long intensive. We do an intensive every summer with teens with our artists in residence, where they get to kind of inspire, develop, implement, and install this large-scale mural. And then we'll have a second backup muralist come in October, Eric Oakday, who will be kind of doing a follow-up. So we've been piloting this mural program for several years in the high school system, and now we're bringing out the pros from the City of Philadelphia. We've been doing this for about 30 years and have a solid curriculum, sharing it with our teens and teachers. So we have professional development, teach the teacher program, so they can bring it into their own classrooms. And then, we'll be installing these murals somewhere in the community, yet to be determined.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Where would somebody
Yeah.
see? Some have been installed?
Well, we did one at Baldwin High School, 2 at Kalama Intermediate, and 2 up at the Hui with different resident artists in the past. But as I said, now this is our opportunity to really formalize the program. We've been writing grant proposals for the past year to get the curriculum nailed down, to get these artists out here, to ensure that everything's low cost and subsidized, and in some cases free, to get these supplies and really make an investment in this program so that we can continue it and get back into the school system, working with teens.
Having them do graffiti in a very controlled way.
Well, not just graffiti. In fact, we're not allowed to use that word anymore.
Oh,
It's now
really?
called aerosol mural. But yes, whatever format they want to be creating these
No,
murals
what is
in.
it called now?
Aerosol murals.
Aerosol. Oh, I get it.
Yes.
Okay, aerosol.
Hello, can.
Yeah, give me a minute.
We've
Okay,
evolved.
okay, all right.
We've
No
evolved.
graffiti, aerosol.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
yeah. So graffiti, is geared more towards the individual and this tagging sensibility back in the 80s. And now a lot of the old school graffiti artists have evolved the movement into a collaborative process, creating an image that, is community based and based on more of a conversation and an agreement, and turning, graffiti into art.
And I have seen some of those on the mainland. They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
On city streets and just gorgeous.
Right.
I think they have a couple on Oahu too.
And speaking of works of art, all you have to do is go down to the Pacific Source showroom.
Yes.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
Thank you, Paul from Pacific Source, for the message. And thank you again for being our sponsor for more than 3 years. It's been a terrific opportunity for us to get the word out and to help folks like the Hui fill up their classes. We'll take credit for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're talking with Kelly McHugh, who is the Youth Program and Marketing Manager.
That's right, yep.
Yeah, thank goodness for cheat sheets.
But
Anyway,
she's also an artist.
and she's also an
Thank
artist.
you.
Yes.
Thank
Now,
you
what
for
is your-
reminding me.
What is your medium?
I was a mixed media major, so I did a lot with India inks, painting, drawing, and mosaic
Nice.
in college. But I've since been working more in ceramics, trying my best.
when you get the opportunity. But
Exactly.
you get more than a full-time job just doing what you're doing over
it's
there.
It's true, as do all nonprofit directors.
Yes, we do.
For sure. So you've got some upcoming events. I was noticing the Family Day that you've got coming up.
Yeah, Family Day is coming up on July 28th, just from 10 to 2. It's a 4-hour free event, and it's always been a celebration of our youth art exhibition, which features the work of every single child participating in our Camp Kaluanui program. As well as the teens through the Mural Arts program that we'll be holding this July. So you'll get to see the work of about 200 plus keiki, age 5 through 18. So those aren't so much keiki anymore. And then Family Day, we've got live music, food, scavenger hunt, workshops, the exhibition, you name it. It's just a really, really fun, colorful celebration.
A scavenger hunt on those
Yeah.
grounds.
I was just going to say, scavenger hunt. Can anybody play?
Anybody can play. First 50 people to show up can play. In fact, it's our way of making sure people show up on time.
There you go.
Not local style.
So,
There you go.
yeah, and the scavenger hunt generally takes folks through all of our 8 core studios. So it's a nice opportunity for us to make sure everyone's checking out everything that we have to offer on the property. And it's fun.
Oh, fun.
I'll bet.
Good times.
Yeah, free event for your family.
Absolutely, yeah. And tonight, actually, I should say, we do have a free lecture up at the Hui at 5:30 with visiting artist Casey Newman, who's a printmaker that used to work with us for, I think, 3 or 4 years in our printmaking studio. And she's since moved to Texas and is back just teaching and doing this free lecture tonight. And she's brilliant and a phenomenal artist. So it should be a really good time.
Now, when you say artists in residence, do they actually stay up there?
The artists in residence stay with us. We have an artist cottage on property.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, specifically for folks that are visiting us from off island or out of anywhere that is not Maui. Exactly. Yeah, so
nice.
that's kind of one of the perks. Since we can't give them tons of money, we give them a place to stay and
In Maui.
free studio space. Exactly.
In Maui.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Who
There's some
wouldn't?
incentive. Let's see. Go
wouldn't
to
want-
It's
Chicago,
true.
go to Maui.
It's
Not
true.
that Chicago isn't a very nice town.
It's a good town to be from.
Any other events coming up?
Yeah, so in terms of events, we've got another lecture July 5th, free lecture with an Australian painter by the name of Ian Tremowen. He'll be a visiting artist during that time. As we said, Family Day is on July 28th. And currently we have our exhibition in the gallery, Reflections Contemporary Glass Art in Hawaii, now through July 6th. So the Hui currently is open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's a nice opportunity to come and see this media-based exhibition. It's gotten a lot of press, and it's really, really interesting and beautiful.
Now, if someone is interested in, upcoming classes and stuff, you said they can go to the website. What is the website?
Yeah, the website is huinoeau.com, and that is spelled HUINOEAU.com. And as I said before, we're updating that probably on a daily basis with changes. And we also have an e-blast called Flash News, and you can sign up on the homepage of our website. And those are last-minute opportunities, sales, reminders, changes, and it's a great way for folks to kind of stay in touch with us about the most current and timely information.
And what's the phone number just for those people who don't like using computers?
Yeah, it's 572-6560.
And you can call that if you're interested in classes, or if you heard something today that you thought you might be interested, one of the free events. Now, the July event, is there a limit on how many people can participate?
Absolutely not.
So everybody can go up for that one.
We want everybody there.
The entire community.
Danger.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
How many
it
people
always is.
can you get into? How many acres?
We've got, I think it's 20 acres up
wow.
there.
That's a few
so,
people.
Yeah,
I didn't
we
realize
can
it was
fit a few
that
people
big up there.
Yeah.
So it must go farther back.
Well, the studios themselves, I think, occupy about 9 or 10 acres. But yeah, we also have the surrounding fields. But yes, I guess Family Day is not going to be there. 10 acres
10
of
acres.
people are invited to come.
But now there's some areas that have been fixed up for trails and things like that to follow. But that's not way in the back.
No, that's all on property. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got the remains of, I think, the oldest sugar mill on the island that was there well before the Baldwins built the Kaluanui house. And we tend to see a lot of wedding rentals down there and special events in that area. We've got a little bamboo forest and a gigantic sculpture made out of invasive strawberry guava by last year's artist in residence, Patrick Doherty. And we had partnered with the Maui Invasive Species Committee on that. So we tend to see folks playing in there for an hour or two at a time. But yeah.
I've got to meet the person that did the little bamboo forest. How do you keep bamboo little?
I don't know. We've got a groundskeeper who works really, really hard.
I
would
imagine.
Yeah, I would think so.
Taking care of all of those, we have all the, like I said, 70 species of plants and trees on the property, and they all have very specific needs.
Wow.
And that's his job.
One?
That's Miguel, and he's fabulous.
One groundskeeper?
Yes,
Oh
exactly.
my gosh.
Gosh. Now, I bet you a lot of the trees and stuff up there were, planted original.
We have a plant guide that would explain all of that in detail up at the Hui. We do have, I want to say, 3 Norfolk Island pines up there that are 100 plus years old each. And we've had people from other islands travel just to Maui, just to the Hui to see these trees. And that's really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
How would you like to decorate those for Christmas?
It's our dream.
Heck of a Christmas.
Yeah, I would think so. My gosh.
Yeah.
Are they somewhere where they can be seen?
They're
Well,
absolutely.
if they're 100 years old, I bet you can see them.
From anywhere.
We can't find a cherry picker tall enough to get us up there, but yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Decorate
something?
half a tree.
If we could find a great volunteer to come and climb up our Norfolk Island pine and decorate it for Christmas.
That's a challenge
It
to
is.
the community.
I dare you, community.
Oh, I just pictured the liability on that.
I know.
But wouldn't that be awesome?
We'll make you sign a waiver.
Yeah, definitely. Woo!
Now, do you have any volunteer opportunities up there?
We do constantly, and we actually post those on our website as well as in our flash news. I've been really fortunate to have a lot of volunteer help with our Camp Kaluanui program. And a lot of that was as a result of the last time I was on the show as well. With my partner that day. And we have volunteer opportunities with every special event that we do. We always need help. I mean, weeks in advance with decorations and phone calls and sponsorships and advertising. And we always need front desk help. Call us or visit our website and sign up on our volunteer survey if that's something that sounds interesting.
So you could almost call and say, here's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Can you use me any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, and we can. Trust me.
We will find a spot for
Yeah.
you. Well, even just keeping your website up to date has got to be a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of work. And the nice thing about it is we just redesigned our website last year in such a way that every single department can update it themselves.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so rather than kind of, assigning all of that work to one person, which would be a full-time job, we all kind of man our own departments.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, which is good.
That makes sense. Because you know what you want to say about your program and stuff instead of writing it up, handing it to somebody.
Yeah.
I got you.
No,
Good move.
nonprofits. We can't. We're all juggling so many different tasks and wearing many hats. It's, it works better when we can all own it.
Well, Kelly, like always, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
it's
you.
Always a pleasure to talk to you
Thank
about
you.
the Hui No Yao and the activities going on up there.
Yeah.
Right.
What a nice place to volunteer.
Wouldn't it?
Nice day.
I feel
Just
like-
go up and hang out.
Yeah, I feel like taking a day off and go up there.
You can't. You run a nonprofit.
Oh. That's why I haven't been there.
But we will try to get up there, Kelly.
Beautiful.
One of these next retirements, I'll fit that in.
Speaking of retirement, next we have Randy Achito with Friends of the Children's Justice Center.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So why are we talking about retirement with Randy?
Oh, there's a rumor going around the community that he's retiring soon.
Yeah, September, the end of September. So,
You're going to be missed.
well, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to miss all you guys.
Well, we're not going to let you go. You're still friends.
Okay.
And you still be here sometimes.
Yeah.
So we'll just, when we need somebody to help us out, we know who to call.
Yeah, you'll be a volunteer now.
Okay.
Folks, if we had a TV screen for you to watch this guy, that look I just got
still red.
was priceless.
No, we were talking earlier about planning out your retirement, and I've got it all planned out. So
Oh, I see.
He's booked solid.
yeah.
So I don't think we're in there.
No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
So, well, before you leave, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with Friends of the Children? Well, tell us about the Friends of the Children's Justice Center.
The Friends of the Children's Justice Center is a nonprofit, 22 years old now, and we started originally to set up the physical facilities for the Children's Justice Center, which is part of the state judiciary, and there's one of those on each island, 2 on the Big Island. And so once that was done, once we had a lot of help from the local Rotary clubs, and once the facility was up and running, they came to this group and said, there's really a need in the community for a lot of help. A lot of kids that have been abused or neglected. A lot of them are falling through the cracks. They're not getting what they need for their healing. Could you consider becoming a nonprofit and helping these kids? So that's how we got started 22 years ago. We basically have a 3-part mission. The first is to provide assistance to abused and neglected children. And we do this by working with about 25 different human services agencies here in Maui County who have abused or neglected children as clients. So we receive needs requests from those agencies for the children and try and fund as many of those as we can. We don't have any direct programs, but we try and fund the children attending activities or things that are going to make them feel better about themselves, self-esteem issue. Anything from horseback riding lessons to after-school programs to summer YMCA programs to just about anything you can think of. So we try and fund as many of those as we can. Last year was about 750
Wow, that's great.
Wow.
we funded. So, yeah, a lot of kids we've helped.
That's a lot. Now that's kids, not that all had the issues last year,
Right.
but are still in the system.
Right. They don't have to be, quote unquote, in the system, but there has to be some sort of abuse, either physical, emotional, or sexual, or extreme neglect. So that's the criteria. And then we work with them up to the age of 18. So
How do you find out about these people?
through the requests that come in from the agencies that have them
Oh,
as
the ones you
clients.
work with.
Yeah,
Okay, the
yeah,
25 agencies.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
The second part of the mission statement is to promote the prevention of child abuse and neglect. So every April we have a 20-page supplement in the Maui News that is specifically about the prevention of child maltreatment. And we also have published a couple of CDs, one about mandated reporting for professionals and the other one about shaken baby syndrome. So we're also recently very involved in the statewide prevention project called One Strong Ohana, which is a collaboration between the Joyful Heart Foundation and the Hawaii Children's Trust Fund, which I happen to be on the advisory committee for that until just a week or two ago. So a lot of those efforts have generated a lot of response. They're doing some big media stuff, TV, radio, newspaper, and then they've got several corporate sponsors that are helping out too. So it's been a good program, a good campaign for prevention.
Is the One Strong Ohana the one that the lady from the Law and Order is involved in?
Yeah, well, she's the founder of Joyful Heart Foundation, which is one of the partners.
One of the partners, okay.
And her name is Mariska Hargitay. So,
right.
Yeah.
Detective.
I don't watch the show.
I'm sorry. Benson. You don't know either. See? Okay.
We just know she does good things in the community and started the Joyful Foundation. Moving on.
Well, okay.
And then the third part of the mission, moved right into that.
There you go.
Is to support the Children's Justice Center, which as I mentioned, is part of the state judiciary. And that's the facility that we're housed in, and that's where they bring children to be interviewed for suspected abuse. So, and we do a lot of things for them. So last year, as I mentioned, we helped out over 750 kids for services that they needed. We also do a Christmas program, 1,500 gifts last year for Christmas.
That's great.
And then a lot of stuff out in the community outreach. So that's kind of what we are.
A lot of advocacy in trying to educate the community to prevent child abuse, and also I think we were talking about this another time about reporting child abuse.
Right.
Making sure that if you suspect something, to tell somebody. Yeah. Don't let it, a neighbor sometimes neighbors don't want to get involved. That just that bums me out.
Yeah, well, in talking with Women Helping Women, Stacy, when they did the march a week and a half ago for the 4-year-old boy that was killed,
right.
Talking about all the people who knew pieces of what was going on and never talked to each other, maybe never had a reason to talk to each other, but all suspected something was going to be happening or was happening, and nobody did anything. And it's like, and I mean, there's a fine line between when do I get involved and when don't I? And for many people, that line is a moving target. Mm-hmm. You think, well, when I hear them holler again, I'll do something. And then when they holler again, then you come up with another excuse for not doing it. And saying
what's the downside to saying something to somebody? If it turns out to be false, then everything's okay.
Right.
If it turns out to be true, you could actually save a life.
That's true.
And the key thing, I think, is there are things that everybody can do to help with the prevention of child abuse, and we're promoting the protective factors. Everybody talks about the risk factors, but we're promoting protective factors. And the One Strong Ohana campaign is real big on that, talking about what you can do, what neighbors can do, what families can do, what the community can do to support these kids. And if you see a situation where maybe a mom and a kid are in a little bit of a situation, you can go up to the mom and say, having a rough day today, and boy, I have those days too. Just kind of diffuse the situation, and let there be a few seconds go by where everyone's thinking, and maybe I can calm down here. So.
Or just asking, is there something I can do to help?
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of having a few seconds to calm down, we'll calm down for the next 30 seconds. 60, okay.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
Thank you, and we're back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors to find out how they are working to support the needs of the Maui community that we love. Earlier today, we were talking with Kelly Mahue from Hui Noiao, and now we're talking with Randy Achito from the Friends of the Children's Justice Center. Boy, talk about two totally different formats here, and kind of.
Well, they both help children.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they do.
They both have children's.
That's true.
I'm making the connection here.
Good. Okay, that's what you're good for.
Randy, earlier before we went on the air, you were talking about how you got involved with being the executive director for Friends of the Children's Justice Center. Do you mind telling me that story?
Okay. I was in the ice cream business over on the Big Island on the Kona side, and I had a Baskin and Robbins ice cream store. On the opening day, I wanted to be able to give back to the community, so I asked my banker, do you know of a nonprofit that I could help out? And he said, oh yeah, boy do I have one. And he happened to be on the board of the Friends over in West Hawaii. So I did that, and naturally, anytime you do something good for somebody, they try and snatch you up. So it wasn't long before I was on their board. And as I was learning more about it, I'd go into the office, and one day while I was sitting in the office, they brought in an 18-month-old little girl for the interview. Not much you can get out of an 18-month-old, but they had to go through the process. And she had been sexually molested by her grandfather. And luckily, in this case, the grandfather admitted when they did approach him. That doesn't always happen. And with young children like that, especially that age, you can't get a whole lot out of them as far as disclosing the abuse. But this darling little 18-month-old, just cute as could be. And I got to sit there and talk to her and play with her with the toys while she was waiting. And I decided right at that moment that if there was anything that I could do for this organization, that I would continue to do that. So over on West Hawaii, I went from the board to running their program, being staff, when the staff person left, and did that for a year. And then when I came over here to Maui, they found out that I was over here. So they got me on the board over here, which I served a couple of years here. And then when the position came open for the executive director, I just jumped at it, even though it was a reduction in salary. I said, this is what I've got to do. And so I've been doing that for 7.5 years.
Wow.
And doing it well.
No, thank you.
That's terrific. Now, how do you get your funding? Because you're spending a lot of money with presents that you're buying and services you're providing.
Well, the presents are donated, right?
Most of them are.
Yeah.
We, for the older kids, the teenagers, we have to get gift cards. So we provide that.
They don't want Barbies anymore.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Does anybody want
hard-
Barbies anymore?
Hard
Oh
to shop
gosh,
for them.
yes, my niece.
Oh,
Any
But-
kind of fairy Barbie.
Yeah. Our funding is a little unique. We get no federal, no state, and no county funds. We do have two foundations who have been very, very generous that are uniquely involved in child abuse issues. The first is the Bradley and Victoria Geist Foundation, who help basically foster children. And then the other one is the Teresa Hughes Trust, who help any children who have been abused. And so both of them go up to the age of 18, which kind of fits in with our mission. And they've been very generous to us over the last few years, because it's very difficult for us to raise program funds because a lot of foundations consider it re-granting. Because I mentioned we go out and we give to the kids individually on these requests that come in, so that's considered re-granting, and a lot of foundations don't like to do that. So luckily these two understand that you need to do that to accomplish the mission, and they've been very generous. We also do fundraising. We're part of the Hyundai golf tournament every year. We've been involved since it was, 3 or 4 cars ago. But that's a big project for us, and it's something that's been very successful for us. Also, we have an annual fundraiser that's coming up in October 19th this year. And
you guys do know how to throw a party.
Yeah.
It's a really fun fundraiser.
Yeah, it is, and it's not it's basic. We have good food, good fellowship, good entertainment, and a couple of auctions, a live and silent auction, and we just get together for a good time.
Yeah. It is fun.
So,
I like your themes.
Yeah, thank you. This year it's the Year of the Dragon.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, so it'll be a really fun time, October 19th. And where else do we get money from? The
Maui United Way?
No, we are not.
Oh, you're not a Maui United Way agency?
No.
Oh, sorry about that.
But from the generous contributions of corporations and individuals who have a passion for helping children. Yeah.
That's great. And anybody can donate, though. Anybody.
You betcha. Yeah.
And how do they donate?
Well, they can go to our website, and that's the easiest way. And that's www.mauicjc.org. And there's a place there for you to be able to donate. Or they can call me at 986-8634, and we can set up some arrangement for donations.
Yeah, after hearing that compelling story about the 18-month-old, we were talking earlier, you just can't imagine, somebody that age going through something like that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, getting the support from Friends of the Children's Justice Center, little girl will be okay. Very good.
The Children's Justice Center is, what actually do they do? I mean, they do the intake and they do the...
Yeah, that's the place
discovery of
where the children are interviewed.
Okay.
So there's 2 interview rooms of appropriate age, and then the recording equipment. They are recorded, and they know that they're being recorded. And normally the police are involved in the recording of that. They have specialized officers that do that, and either somebody from Child and Family Service or a private consultant who has been trained in how to ask the questions are involved, depending on the age and the type of abuse that takes place. So.
Are the kids kept someplace then, or do they go right back to home or wherever?
Well, it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
okay. And if there's a safety issue of the child, naturally they're not allowed to go back to the household. So they are. It could be.
Again, that's what one of the 25 agencies will take care of.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they're actually become their clients.
Yes, and whether they're put into a temporary foster situation or more long-term, or return to the family if the person that's doing the abuse is not a factor anymore. It just depends on the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So decisions have to be made fairly quickly.
Yes. Yeah. And that's. And most of the cases are CPS cases or CWS, Child Welfare Service cases. So
Now, one time, was it last year when we talked or something? We were talking about the reduction in state staffing for going out and doing the groundwork, if you will, on these cases. Is that still an issue, or have they brought some people back on the work to work?
that is still an issue, and the local group is trying very hard to fill some of those slots, but a lot of people working very dedicated, doing a lot more work, a lot more cases, and just trying to hang in there. But yeah, it's not a lot better than it was a year ago.
Wow.
You need those people. I mean, gosh, you don't want another child to slip through the cracks.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you can't make that call and know that somebody's going to be reacting to it right away, I guess if you went through one of the agencies, excuse me, like I think MEO has in their community services has a group, but if you were to call them and report something, they can't do anything on their own, can they?
Probably not a whole lot, but what we advise people to do is if they know of a situation, they can call one of three places. Number one, if it's an emergency, you call 911,
Right.
Or you could call the non-emergency number of the police department, which is 244-6400. Or you could call the statewide intake number, which is for the Department of Human Services Child Welfare Service, and that's the 800 number, and that's 494-3991. Or you could call the sex abuse treatment number for Child and Family Service, which is 877-6888.
Now, can you make all of these calls anonymously?
Yeah, I believe so. With the intake number, the 800 number, they, I believe, will do anonymous and try and find out as much information as they can, and then they'll respond depending on the safety of the child again, and how important it is to get involved right away. And then if there is another agency that could get involved, they may hand it off to them and not have an investigator go out, but all different types of ways that they can respond to it.
Lots of agencies that will be able to help, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, do you have a list of a couple of those agencies, just in case anybody needs to reach out?
Well, in our 20-page supplement,
Is that coming out soon, or it just came out,
just
right?
came out.
It just came out.
Yeah,
that's
last
right.
April.
Yeah.
So we do have a page on resources, and you mentioned Women Helping Women. That's one agency that's a good resource, and one of the 25 or so agencies that request funding from us for certain situations for the children. Child and Family Service is another. Aloha House for if there's some sort of substance abuse, and it goes on from there. Just all kinds of resources. And if anybody wants to talk specifically about an individual resource, they can call me directly, and I could try and point them in the right direction. Yeah.
Because they all do a little bit different, whether it be drug abuse or substance abuse, I should say.
So if there's something, excuse me, if there's something going on right now and you want to report it, and you don't have a number, wasn't there a 211 or a something? What was the nonprofit or the services? It was like the 911 or the 411. Only it
Oh,
was,
it's the information service.
Yeah, the information line.
That's 211.
211, and tell them what you're trying to find, and they should be able to help you.
They can, they have all the agencies they
Yeah.
refer to and their phone numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
But
And
then
that's
call
go ahead.
Randy too
Yeah, you can call Randy.
for a little while more.
So you're really going to do it?
I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
So what are
That's-
some of your plans?
Well, I have a little place in California, up in the mountains, and so there's always work that needs to be done there. And my daughter lives in Southern California, so I'll be visiting there a lot. And just projects.
And then somebody will knock on his door and say, "We have a place on a board of directors. We need you."
Yeah.
I think you better wait a little while.
Yeah.
Give him some time to breathe first. And the search for your replacement is going well, I hear.
Yeah, it is going well. So far, we've gotten 47 applicants, and that process will be ongoing. I believe they're hoping to have someone on board by August 1st.
When is the deadline to submit an application?
Monday, the 25th of this month. So next Monday, yeah. And hopefully that person will have a background in nonprofit leadership, fundraising experience, experience with volunteers, because this is a one-person shop. And
yeah, not a huge staff to oversee.
yeah,
You do it all.
yeah, do it all with the help of volunteers.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, you've done it. You've done a tremendous job. We want to thank you. And you were the nonprofit executive director of the year. What, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
He
so
did.
do I.
He was so surprised, and I don't know why he was surprised. He's a logical choice.
We kept it under lock and key, and he was shocked.
It was fabulous. So It's
So
just
much
a-
so that he blurted out something he regretted later.
just
I was trying to be funny, and I said, "Is there any money that comes with this?" And lo and behold, there is.
There is.
Yeah.
I go, well, actually, and you're like, no. I was just kidding. So, well, we can take it back.
But you've done a tremendous job. We want to thank you so much for what you've done.
Yep, very humble young man that does a lot of work and doesn't ask for a lot of praise over there.
Right.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
very
Right.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you will definitely be missed. Thanks for both of you guys for joining us, Kelly and Randy, for Maui Nonprofit Notes. This show is sponsored by Pacific Source. Wonderful cabinet showroom down in Waikapu. If you haven't gone, definitely hit there. Being in the construction business, I can tell you, it is the best place to shop. Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui.
We encourage everyone to get involved by giving, advocating, or volunteering for your favorite nonprofit. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. We encourage you to get involved today. Mahalo for tuning in, and don't forget to join us next week again right here, KAOI Radio, 11:10 a.m. and 96.7 FM, when we'll be featuring representatives of two more member agencies.
2 more member agencies on Maui, of Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then,
I'm
she's
Susie Tiemann.
and I'm Sherry Dotson. And thank you, and see you next week.
Everybody have a great week. Aloha.